So just a quick little concept about SOHCAHTOA and sine, cosine, and tangent that's really helpful. I want to talk about some generic values here. So if I was to say, like, what is the sine of angle A? Well, I know that sine is the opposite. So sine of A is the opposite of hypotenuse. Well, the opposite of A is what I call little a here, little a, over the hypotenuse, which I call C here. And at the same time, I want to say, okay, what if I was to say the sine of B? Well, the sine of B, the opposite of B now is what I call little b, and the hypotenuse is still C. And what if I was to say, what's the cosine of A? What's the cosine of A? Well, the cosine of A is the adjacent, which I call B, and over the hypotenuse, which is still C. And what about the cosine of B? Okay, well, if I was to say cosine of B, that's the adjacent, which I call A, over the hypotenuse, which I call C. And this leads us to some information here that's very valuable. Hopefully you can see this. What I want you to recognize is, look at the sine of A and the cosine of B. They both equal A over C. Therefore, we can say that the sine of A equals the cosine of B. We also see a connection here between the sine of B and the cosine of A. They both equal B over C. So we can say the sine of B is equal to the cosine of A. Basically, the sine of one angle is equal to the cosine of the other angle in a right triangle. That's super helpful. There's another part to this. What if I was to talk about tangent? Tangent of A, well, tangent equals opposite, opposite over adjacent. So from A, the opposite is A, and the adjacent is B. What about the tangent of B? Tangent of B, that's the opposite of B, which is B, over the adjacent, which is A. So let's call it B over A. What you might notice here is that these are exact reciprocals of each other. And so if I wanted to say, well, like, if I divided it by 1 by tangent B, I would have 1 over B over A, which, remember, when you're dealing with fractions and you're dividing, you can just multiply by the reciprocal. So you end up with A over B. So this is the same thing as this. So this is another one that's really useful. We find out that the tangent of an angle is equal to the reciprocal tangent of the other angle in the right triangle. So these three rules are going to be valuable to know. So worth writing down somewhere. Just keep track of these. All right, see you guys next time.